I've contemplated for a long time on whether I should make this video or not. This is a very dark topic. It's very controversial. Everybody at least once thought about this in their whole life. I've thought about it, you've thought about it, but I've never seen anybody come out online in public and actually mention it for what it is. Everybody seems to beat around the bush when it comes to it. And the reason is because it will offend so many people. A lot of people watching this will be very angry at me for this. But I believe at the end of the day, telling the truth, it will bring more good than harm into the Muslim community. There seems to be a correlation, a positive correlation, with poverty and Muslim countries. Have you ever wondered why that is the case? Some people will say, well, it's because of America, it's because of Jews. Then others, like the older demographic of Muslims, they will say, well, it's because we don't study enough. They have such good schools, they have Oxford, Stanford, whereas our Muslim guys, we don't have the best schools and we don't go to university enough. So you should go to university, Abdullah, so you can make our culture proud. And then there's another few who just say, like, we don't have the work ethic that these white people have. That's all BS, and you know it. You know at this point that we care about university and studying way more than white people. Our parents literally force us to go and study, all of us. Whereas with white people, it's only like the ones who want to go are the other ones that go. As far as work ethic, we work harder than them. They take their time, trust me, they don't work nearly as hard as us. Especially when you go to Muslim countries, people work really hard. Nevertheless, we are in a Western country. There's a reason me and you are speaking English right now. There's a reason that I'm making this video from Australia. So when you cross out everything, it's not your education, it's not your work ethic, and it's not the Jews, it's not the Americans. What's left? I'll tell you, it's a lack of innovation. Think about everything that was invented in the last century. Think of everybody who invented it. Think of Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, anyone you want to think of who came up with something genius. None of them look like me. Or you, probably. When you look at all these people, what is the one common thing that they all have? They all have a specific field that they have immense talent for. Like their whole body, their whole mind was made for this specific thing. Mark Zuckerberg had a thing for coding. He used every piece of energy he had to pursue this thing that Allah has made him for. Same with Elon Musk. His brain was made, think about rockets, think about electric cars. And that's why he became who he is. I would argue if Elon Musk was born into a Muslim country, he wouldn't have become who he is now. Because his mom would have told him, and his dad, Ilyas, you cannot go and build rockets. Forget about rockets. Forget about electric cars. Go and study for 10 years and become a doctor. And he would just be like a normal doctor who makes, 100K a year. I've spent many, many years wondering why Muslim countries are just slightly below the Western countries, the Eastern European ones on a global scale. I really thought about every single possibility, and it came to me when I read a book by Alex Hormozy. If you don't know him, he's probably one of the biggest guys online that talks about business, right? He is the king of online business. And he's of I believe, Iranian descent. He's got like Iranian family, they came as immigrants. So basically, when he was young, his family, just like you and me, made him go to university, made him study extremely hard. I think it was economics or some BS. And the whole time he had a really strong push towards entrepreneurship. Eventually, when he finished his university degree, he realized that he was wasting his time. And to become an entrepreneur, he had to cut off all ties with his father. He had to get into disputes with his whole family and abandon his culture to become the man he is now, who makes like, 100 million a year, some crazy stuff like that. It really made me sad that as Muslims, in order to pursue what Allah has made us for, we need to disobey our parents, we need to cut off ties. This whole idea that you have to be a pussy, that you can't take risks and you have to take the safest possible route every time if you're a Muslim, get this idea completely out of your head. Neither is listening to your parents in everything and only doing what they tell you to do. Now, a lot of you will get really angry at me about that, but there's not a single verse Not a single sunnah where it says you have to obey your parents. It says you have to respect them. It says you have to treat them really well, but it doesn't tell you that you have to do what they say. I actually had a comment today. I literally just remembered it. I don't remember his name or anything, but he basically told me he went to university because his parents made him. But the whole time he had a strong proclivity towards fighting, self-defense, lifting weights, and he was telling me about how if he didn't go to university, he might have started his own gym by now. Here you have a brother who has actual talent and passion towards this one thing. He mentions that he's not really good at engineering. He could have benefited the Ummah in such good ways. He could have turned boys into men. He could have created honor, taught people how to fight, stopped people from getting bullied. If he opened up that martial arts gym, he would have had a way better impact in the world than being stuck in a university for 5 years doing his engineering degree. I would argue teaching martial arts at this stage in the world is actually a more beneficial field than engineering. You can argue with me in the comments, that's fine, but that's what I believe. Now that you've watched this video and you are slowly starting to become more and more free in your mind, I hope, the next step from here, you need to figure out what Allah has actually made you for. And when you pursue that goal, whatever it is, you're going to get endless rewards from Him. He's going to bless you. He's going to create a pathway for you where you can succeed very easily. But there's only so much I can talk about in this video. In this video, I take you step by step on how to link what you are good at to Islam so that you are literally getting rewards every time you work towards it. And when you live your life this way, that's when you're going to start getting the blessings. That's when you're going to start feeling happy. All these feelings you get, depression, anxiety, they all come from you not following the path that Allah has made you for.